Hi everyone, I'm Priyanjali and I'm back for our live session today, a little bit later in the day, not a noon session. But I hope you all are healthy, happy at home, staying safe. Without further ado, let's get our session started. As I always mention, hope you have a mat or a dari. Today's session, if some of you may know this, may not know this, that we are in the midst of a full moon. It peaked at 8:05 today, and we've had full moon last night, and even tonight you'll see the glimpse of the super moon. I think yesterday we missed it because of the clouds. But the yogic practice, especially the traditional practice and the full moon, it's a very interlinked. There's a lot of connection. I wouldn't get too much into it, that's for another day. But what I can say is that it's completely natural sometimes to feel amplified emotions during full moons. If you're feeling really bubbly and up and about, you might feel even more of that. If you're feeling really down and grounded, you might feel more of that as well. But having said that, there is a tendency if you do a lot of energizing poses or a lot of heart opener during the full moon that we might actually have really sudden surge of heart pump. And that's just also dependent on the time of the day, but specifically around this time of the month. So, keeping that in mind, today's practice, we're going to focus a little bit more on restoring and conserving that energy. So, think more forward folds and less heart openers and back bends. So, this practice is a little bit more restorative in nature, but of course, we would still be holding some poses, we would still be diving deep into some of the poses with our micro alignment, micro movements, as we always do with your sessions with me. So keeping that in mind, hope you have a dupatta or a strap with you. If you don't, maybe get that along today. Just get any sort of scarf, dupatta that you have. I've kept a cushion here, may not be necessary for all of you, but it's always good practice to have a little bit of extra cushioning. And let's get started. So here, what we want to bear in mind is that if you have difficulty sitting up tall, then please feel free to get a cushion, plop it underneath your buttocks, and that will elevate the floor. And we start with a little bit of centering. So let's take any easy, comfortable seated position that you like today. And let's take the palms on the knees, turn the palm up to receive all the positive energy that is out there and to also send out this positive energy into the collective consciousness. And let's relax the shoulder blades down. Draw the back of your neck in line with the base of the spine. And start to lift the crown of the head away from the floor with your eyes softly closed. And take a moment to notice your breath right at the tip of the nose. And begin to visualize your breath flowing in through the back of the throat, into each and every bronchial cavity of the lung. And as you exhale, follow the breath back out. And just use this opportunity to observe the breath, to center your mind. So just for a little while, let's let go of all the to-dos, all the very many tasks that we set out for ourselves, knowing that the next 25 minutes is for yourself, for your practice, and everything else can wait for just a little while. You have everything you need for your practice right here in this moment. And with that, begin to deepen the breath. So see if you can take slightly deeper inhalation and longer exhalations. Each time you inhale, the crown of the head slightly lifts further up. Each time you exhale, allow the sit bones to ground down evenly into the earth. And as you continue to take your deep breaths, begin to set your intention for your practice today. And this could be any intention that you can carry to your life beyond the yoga mat. Take a couple of breaths here to set your intention. And once you have your intention, allow it to settle into the center of the heart, visualizing your breath flowing down towards the center of your chest. And then we take this a little bit deeper, start to draw your awareness down now to the movement of your abdomen, the expansion and deflation of your abdomen. And let's set up for our 5 deep yogic breaths here. So what we do here is as you inhale, begin to expand the abdomen out. Visualize filling up the stomach. The rib cage expands slightly as well. As you exhale, draw the navel in and allow the breath to release out. And take 4 more such deep breaths. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, contraction. 3 more. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, contraction. Inhale, once again, expand the abdomen. Exhale, contract. And last one, inhale, expand the abdomen out. And as you exhale, draw the navel in, releasing everything. And then from here, return to the breath that feels natural, that feels effortless to you. Just take the next few moments to notice this breath. Observe whether this breath is any different from the breath you started the practice with. Maybe, maybe not. Just simply observe yourself as a mere witness, a mere observer. We're not trying to change anything. We are simply being present in the moment through observation. And from here, before we begin our asana practice, just as we do, we will begin by either chanting the universal sound of Om once, or creating a humming bee-like noise on the exhalation. You can choose to take whichever variation you like today. So let's take a deep breath in. And let's begin to rub the palms together. Once you have some warmth within your palms, take the palms to the back of your head and begin to massage the back of your head. You can massage your shoulders if you like. And then let's release. I definitely encourage all of you to make sure that you either do your humming noise, the brahmari sound that I was talking about, or Om chanting at the start and end of the practice. Believe me, it makes a big difference. There are a lot of reasons why it's important scientifically, which is again set for another day. But also you can always DM me, message POPxo Daily or Yoga with Priyanjali on Instagram if you have any questions, and I'll be super happy to share the science-backed reasons why these things are important, because I feel the practice goes beyond the physical also into the knowledge and the intellect. Right? So with that, we're going to start today in our child's pose. Now, child's pose is fairly basic, but a lot of us end up taking little tiny micro movements incorrectly, and then it's difficult to sustain. So notice how my big toes are joined together. So it's kind of like I'm creating a seat with my feet, and then I'm going to sit down on it. So see if you can again take your big toes together in the same manner. Let your hips sink in. Now, if this isn't very comfortable for some of you, feel free to get a cushion and slide it underneath your tops of the feet like so, and then it might get a little comfortable. If despite of that it's not comfortable or you have knee issues, then take one more cushion apart from keeping it underneath your feet. Also keep it between your thighs and calves so that you have little less of pressure around the knees. So with that, let's start to walk the fingertips forward, extend the child's pose. We begin by resting the forehead on the floor. Some of us may not even be here. Maybe the belly gets in the way, which is perfectly fine. You might be hovering here. If that's the case, you can always make a cushion or keep one fist over the other, or even get another cushion, a third cushion, slide it underneath your head, Anything that allows the body to relax. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Breathe up and down the spine. Visualize the breath flowing all the way to the base of your spine. As you exhale, visualize the breath moving back up the spine. And one more deep breath in and out. Child's pose. Excellent restorative pose. From here, look forward as you inhale. As you exhale, walk the palm, the right palm to the right, the left to the right, towards the right palm as well. And then we're going to slightly shift the hips towards the left. And then again, pull your head down, giving yourself a little side body stretch. Now, as you're here, you may feel some stretch along the left side of the body. If this isn't quite deep enough, then I invite you to press the left hip further down into the floor, to press the left shoulder and right shoulder evenly down into the floor. If you notice one shoulder is lifted than the other, then please try to pull it down and you'll immediately notice the difference it makes in the pose. Take one more deep breath here. A long breath out. And then inhale, walk the hands to center. As you exhale, walk it towards the left. You do the same thing on the other side. Slightly shift the hips towards the right. And as you sink your head down, pull your shoulders down evenly into the floor. You may have to actively pull your right shoulder down so that it's evened out. And breathe here. Notice the subtle changes in the body with these micro movements. For our extremely flexible friends who think this isn't quite deep enough, you can always take the variation of taking the right palm on top of the left, and this will further deepen the stretch. If you are taking that variation, then further pull your right shoulder down into the floor. And then inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, lift up onto your hands and knees, palms directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. Let's take a cat and cow. So inhale, lift the chin and chest up, roll the shoulder blades down. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin in towards the chest, draw the belly in. Little core work as well. Inhale, lift the chin and chest up, roll the shoulder blades down. And exhale, round the back, tuck the chin into the chest, belly drawing in. Once again, inhale, chin and chest up. Vitaliyasana, our cow pose. Exhale, tuck the chin into the chest, Marjanasana, cat pose. And then from here, come back to a neutral spine. We're going to take a little spinal twist. So now, as you inhale, lift the right hand up, open up the chest towards the sky. And as you exhale, slide this right arm through behind your left hand and see if you can come to rest on your right shoulder. Now notice how I'm resting on my shoulder and my head is resting down as well, the right side of the head. But if that doesn't work for you, you could always grab a block or a cushion and rest your head down on the cushion. Try and avoid this movement where the neck is tilting uncomfortably. You want it to rest gently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the other way so you can also see what happens to my left arm. Now as you're here, notice my left palm. I am going to slide it straight in front of my face. As you inhale, press down into the mat with your left palm. As you exhale, try to pull the center of your chest up towards the ceiling. You should start to feel the stretch around your lumbar spine and your thoracic spine, which is your lower back and your middle back. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. Notice how my knees continue to be right in line with my hip. And breathe. At any point, if you find it difficult to breathe, it means you've gone too far in your twist, and then you can reduce the twist slightly. Remember, the breath is most important. And then to come out of this, press into the left palm. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to open up the arms and then place the palm back down. A little counter stretch. We do the same thing on the other side. For this one, I'll turn back to my original position. So let's extend the left arm. Inhale. Exhale, slide the arm through. Rest the left shoulder down. Palms are in front of the face. Now as you inhale, press down into the right palm. And as you exhale, pull the center of your chest away from the yoga mat. Take 2 deep breaths here. Don't let your core collapse like so. Keep slightly drawing the belly in. Remember, we're focusing on micro movements to build strength and flexibility together. So these may not look like a lot, but your muscles are working. And then let's press into the palm. Inhale, extend the left arm up. And exhale, bring the palm back down. Great. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to cross at the shin. We're just going to walk back and come into our butterfly pose. For this, we are joining the soles of the feet together like so and letting the knees out to the side. So I'm going to turn sideways. And again, if you are here where your knees are lifted up or it's too uncomfortable, feel free to slide your heels slightly forward. And then we'll start today by just simply flapping the knees up and down. Pull the back of your neck in line with the base of the spine. Allow your shoulder blades to be relaxed. Drop the shoulder heads away from the ears. And take a couple of deep breaths here. I invite you to close your eyes. And as we are here in this hip opener, just take a moment to notice what are the emotions that are flying in and out of your mind. This pose is related to the Swadhisthana chakra, and Swadhisthana chakra is related to a lot of, think fluid movements, think the element of water, and a lot of emotions that get caught up. So allow yourself to experience whatever emotion you're feeling at this point in its full essence, good or bad. No emotion is bad, all emotions are welcome. And then from here, exhale out through the mouth, let go. What we'll do is we're going to inhale, extend both the arms up. Try to bring the upper arm in line with the ears. Inhale here. As you exhale, lean forward and keep pressing the rib cage forward. Roll the upper arms in line with the ears. Take a moment here. If you're up here, then also it's perfectly fine to just lean forward. If you find yourself rounding the back, you can always take a variation where you take the palms to the back of the neck and then you lean forward. As long as you start to feel the lower back muscles and stretch around the hips, that's good. Take one more deep inhalation. And then as you exhale, release the palms down to the floor. See if you can allow the chin to move into the chest. We're taking quite a few forward folds today, so take a few deep breaths here. I'll count for 5 with you, so let's try and breathe together all of us. Ekam. Relax the shoulder. Due. Allow the knees to get heavy. Let the crown of your head get heavy. Chatwari. And then let's look forward. What we will do is we'll walk the palms forward. See if you can join the palms together. Lift the elbows up, and then as you inhale, maintain that length in the lower back as you come all the way up. And then exhale, circle the hands, release. From here, you can shake out the knees a little bit, and then you're going to take the right leg forward. Keep the left leg folded in and the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, like so. I'm going to flex the right foot. Your right ankle should fall straight in line with the right hip. And also just take a moment to look down at your right and left hip and make sure that the 2 hips are in line. A lot of us end up sitting with one hip tilted in front of the other, so we don't want that. You can always look at it like both your hip joints should be parallel to the front shorter edge of the mat. From here, let's inhale, extend both the arms up. As you exhale, come halfway through. Pull the toes in, take another deep breath here. And then as you exhale, this is where, if you can reach the soles of your feet, great. If your hands reach somewhere else along the leg, that's also perfectly fine. If you have a scarf or a strap, this is the time where you wrap it around the top edge, the base of the toes, And then holding on to the strap or the scarf, you roll the shoulders down, press the ribcage forward, and notice how I'm trying not to round my back leg, so I'm keeping it long, and breathe here. So this is for those of us who aren't feeling as flexible today and you find that you need this extra assistance. For our flexible friends who are probably here or even all the way down, try to focus on your lower ribs, and rather than bringing your nose to the shin, so especially people with hyperflexible back, that's one of the biggest cause of injury, we end up doing this. Instead, think about bringing your lower ribcage to the top of the thigh. If you want a further restorative pose, I like to do this sometimes, just get a little cushion and just allow my head to rest on the cushion and just soften your inner gaze as you close your eyes. So that means softening the eyelids, slightly rolling the eyeballs to the back of the head. And let's take 5 deep breaths here. Ekam. Due. If you wish to deepen the stretch, press the heels out as you exhale. Reri. If you want to go further, press the back of the knee and thigh down into the mat as you exhale. Chatvari. And then as you inhale, slowly come back up. Exhale, release the hands, shake out the leg. This was a deep, deep stretch for the back of the right thigh. So really shake it out, bring some circulation into it. A word of caution, whenever you're in any yoga class and we do this pose or any pose and you start to feel tingling sensation, it means that there's a term that is used called nerve flossing when the stretch goes beyond the muscles and actually gets into the nerve endings. While it is very comfortable for a certain amount of time, if you've gone too far, you will start to feel a tingling sensation. So again, that's your body communicating with you through sensations that you've gone too far. So then I would encourage you to reduce the stretch slightly. Right, so with that, we're going to again inhale, extend the arms up. As you exhale, lean slightly forward. Keep the ears and arms in line. Again, you want to keep the foot flex. If you have a scarf or a strap, this is the time when you hook it around your foot. Take a deep inhalation here. As you exhale, slightly bringing the ribcage to the top of the thigh. For those of you not using the scarf and just using your hands, you can hold on to the feet, or if your arms reach the floor, then make sure you're bending your elbows. Even if you're here, make sure you're bending your elbows slightly so that there's softness around the shoulders. Let's all take our 5 deep breaths. And remember, breath is most important. It does not matter if your stretch doesn't look the same as mine, as long as you're breathing into the muscles. Ekam. Due. Reni. Chatvari. And then inhale, extend the arms out. Exhale, release the hands, shake out the legs. You can bring some circulation. Great. From here, we're going to cross again. Walk the palms forward so that the palms are shoulder distance wide. Tuck your toes. Take a deep inhalation here. And as you exhale, let's lift into our first downward facing dog. Feet are up, or rather, palms are shoulder distance, feet are hip distance. Now, if you find yourself again in this position, push your heels down into the floor. Now, some of us might have really tight hamstrings, so maybe your knees are bending and you can't straighten them. If your knees are bending, this is the other variation you can try, where you press your rib cage towards the top of the thigh, and this will allow your back to be nice and long. Try and avoid overarching the back like so, so slightly hug the lower ribs in. This is variation 1. This is variation 2, where you're just kicking the heels down. Variation 3 is where you can touch the heels all the way to the mat. Let's bend the right knee. Press the left heel down into the mat till you experience a stretch in the left calf muscles. If this isn't working for you, this isn't a deep enough stretch, walk the left foot back a little bit. Then we're going to bend the left knee and sink the right heel down. Nice, good stretch in the back of the legs today. And then from here, we're going to take our Ashwasanchalasana, a low lunge. So from here, as you inhale, look forward. As you exhale, again, you can always step the foot forward if your body allows. Otherwise, what you can do is set the back knee down and then walk the foot forward. Bring your right ankle in line with the right knee. Let's look forward, roll the shoulder blades down. Let your back of the neck be nice and long. And then this is where we get into our strengthening or micro movement today. So the pose that we're breaking out down today is Ashwasanchalasana. You could treat it as a simple flexibility pose. So we can start to lift up. And again, those of you struggling with balance here, feel free to slide your mat next to a wall, and you can do this with your hip against the wall. If again you are still struggling with balance, notice the inner right thigh and notice if your knee is moving outward. So if the knee is moving out, pull the knee into center so that you're pressing the weight down into the big toe of the right foot. And then, rather than just letting the hips sink, see if you can slightly pull your navel in, slightly tuck the tailbone. And you could just be here, and this is a good way to work the glutes, a good way to stretch out not just the hips, but also the lower back. Now, for those of our friends who are a little bit more advanced and you want this to be an isometric hold or a strength builder, a little variation, press down into the big toe of the right foot and imagine that you're trying to pull the mat back. There may not be any movement, but there's this contraction of muscles pulling the mat back. And then with the back knee, imagine you're trying to move the mat forward. So it's like pulling both the legs in towards each other and then squeeze both the hips in like you're trying to pull them in towards each other. So there's a concentrated energy moving upwards. Take one more deep breath here. Really working with the Swadhisthana chakra today, working with the hips. Take one more inhalation. And as you exhale, release. From here, we're going to take the palms down. Slowly pull the right leg back and just give yourself a little child's pose. As you're here in child's pose, just notice the subtle changes around your hips, the subtle sensations in the hip region. If you've done the variation, the strengthening variation that I spoke about, then you'll really be feeling that release. And then we're going to come back up. Once again, coming into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift up. Take a deep breath in, a long breath out. Again, keep the spine nice and long. Press the weight into your heels. Keep the back of the legs active by pressing the knees back. And don't let your chest expand, so slightly draw the ribcage in. Keep the tailbone slightly tucked. And then inhale, look forward, step the left leg forward. You could always place the right knee down and then step it forward, or directly forward and then place the knee down. Once you are sure that your front knee and ankle are in line, so a lot of us end up doing this, which is used in some traditions of yoga, but it's usually better to keep the knees or the joints stacked, just because you never know how many of us have an anatomical anomaly that we're not even aware of. So this is a good, sustainable way for all body types. So let's take a deep inhalation. As you exhale, you start to lift up again. If you want to slide your mat, hold on to that wall. Please feel free. Props are welcome. Variations are welcome in this practice. Let's zip up the belly, tuck the tailbone, and press your weight into the big toe of the left foot. You can feel free to stay here. Or those of our advanced friends or the ones feeling adventurous today, press down into the base of the left big toe and then pull the leg back, or rather press into the mat like you're trying to pull the mat back towards you. And with the right knee, it's almost as if you're trying to pull the mat forward towards you. It's going to send a lot of sensation around the glutes, around the hips. Squeeze the hip joints in towards each other, zipping up the energy in towards the core and then lengthening through the crown of the head. Take a deep inhalation, a full exhalation. One more breath here. And then take an inhalation to drop the hands down. Exhale. We let go back into our child's pose. Take a couple of deep breaths here. It is a little bit more restorative practice today in light of the full moon. So welcome this change in the body. Welcome all emotions, good, bad, ugly. All emotions are welcome. It's only when we actually are in touch with our turbulence and vulnerabilities that will we be truly able to move beyond just the emotional realm and to move, or rather the physical realm of the practice, into a deeper mindful realm of the practice. And from here, we're going to take the palms, inhale here, tuck the toes, exhale to down dog. We'll just take one shot vinyasa. So as you inhale, take the knees down. As you exhale, bring the chest and chin down. We've done this yesterday. If you can't come all the way down, the option that I told you yesterday was come all the way flat on the floor and then lift the tailbone up. Chin is on the floor. Let's untuck the toes. Inhale, lift into a little baby cobra. Relax the shoulder blades. Make sure you're not scrunching up the shoulders. Keep pressing the pubic bone down into the mat. Keep pressing your toes firmly into the mat. And then as you exhale, we come back to downward facing dog. Now from here, look forward. Let's start to walk the feet forward towards the palms. For some of us, our knees might be bending, which is perfectly fine. Once you're in your forward fold, knees straight or bent, see if you can grab your opposite elbows. Now, in case you are somebody who takes your full Uttanasana like so, with the legs straight for our advanced friends, notice how if my hips are back, then my core isn't working. So if this is happening, I invite you to pull your weight forward towards your toes. You might almost feel like you're about to fall forward. That's why I encourage you not to lock your knees, but to have a micro bend around your knees. Gives you better control of your quadriceps and hamstrings. And then you can be here. But either way, advanced or not, or beginner, we will eventually all bend our knees so that the rib cage rests on the thighs. Again, this might look like this for some of us, which is fine. It might be this way. Let's grab the opposite elbows and let the crown of your head drop down, just sending the energy, sending the circulation to the crown of the head. Feel free to rock side to side in a ragdoll pose. Take a deep breath in, a full breath out. And then take one more deep inhalation as you exhale, sigh out from the mouth and release the hands in one go. Great. From here, whether your hands touch the floor or not, bend the knees if they don't, and start to walk the feet out, out, out. So if I turn sideways, what I'm doing is I'm walking the feet out till my toes are turning outwards. And if I bend my knee, my second toe is falling in line with my knee. And then I come all the way down into my Malasana. Let's press the knees out with the elbows. Pull the chin and chest forward. And again, I'll give you a little sideways view so you see that my back is nice and long. A lot of us will experience this. So if that is happening, again, you can walk your palms or yourself a little closer to the wall. And you can actually have the wall touching this part so that you know that when you're doing, and if you feel like you're going to topple back, when you're straightening your back, you have the wall to support you. So let's take one more breath here. And as you exhale, release. Excellent. Let's lie all the way down onto the mat. Coming really close to the end of our practice. So let's hug the knees in. We're going to circle the knees around, so clockwise and then counterclockwise. Great. And then from here, let's take the right knee on top of the left knee. And then for some of us, this already might be a deep enough stretch around the outer right hip. So if this is a deep enough stretch, you can just hold on to the back of the thigh and be here. If you want to take it deeper, then see if you can grab your ankles, like how you would grab handlebars of a bike. As you inhale, pull the ankles away from each other. As you exhale, pull the knees closer to the chest. But now notice how I'm not lifting my tailbone up like so, but I'm trying to keep my tailbone still on the ground. So this is a good way to know whether you are ready for this. If you're doing this and your tailbone is lifting, then I would rather you place the tailbone down and hold on to the back of the thigh.
Take one more deep breath here. This is our Supta Gomukhasana, reclining cow's face pose, at least with the legs. We're not adding the arms to this one. And then as you exhale, release. We'll take the palms out. Again, if you look at both your right and left palm, the fingers should be a little below eye level. Inhale. As you exhale, drop both the knees to the left and look over the right. Now, once you're here, notice your right shoulder blade and pull it down to the floor. So if you find this lift around your shoulder, then you can always bring the knee slightly to the center, but keep pulling the right shoulder blade down. Take one more deep breath here. Full breath out. And then inhale, bring the knee back to center. As you exhale, let's interchange the cross of the leg. And let's grab the ankles once again, if this is the variation you took, or else the back of the thigh. Take a deep breath in, a full breath out. Allow the hips to open up, allow the outer left hip to release. So really start to send the breath into the parts of the body where you are experiencing any sensation of stretch. And then from here, you're going to take the palms out to a T. Take a deep inhalation. As you exhale, take both your knees with the legs still crossed over to the right. And if it doesn't bother your neck, look towards your left hand. Make sure you're pulling the left shoulder blade down into the floor. Try to keep your belly nice and soft here. So we're not engaging the core here. Relax the jaw, relax the neck muscles. One more breath here. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, uncross the legs. See if you can give yourself a gentle massage by rocking side to side. And then from here, we're going to extend the legs out, taking our final resting pose. So take your feet as wide as the yoga mat. Take your palms by the sides of the hips, turn them up towards the ceiling. Close your eyes, let the back of your head sink into the mat. We'll go through a short guided Shavasana. So just close your eyes, relax, allow me to guide you through the Shavasana. Begin to relax your jaw, soften the eyes. And now bring your focus on your right palm. Visualize this relaxation moving up through the right arm to the right shoulder, towards the right shoulder blade and flowing down to the right hip. Relax the right buttocks, the right thigh, knee, calf and shin. Relax the sole of the right foot and each and every toe. And now bring your awareness to the left palm. Let the left palm get heavy. Allow the relaxation to flow up the left arm all the way to your left shoulder. Sink the left shoulder blade deep into the mat and visualize the relaxation flowing down towards the left hip. Relax the left buttocks, thigh, knee, calf and shin. Relax the sole of the left foot and each and every toe of the left foot. And now gently pull your awareness towards the center of your chest. Notice the subtle movement with each breath. And continue to breathe for the next 4 to 5 breaths as you immerse yourself in your Shavasana for the day. And then bring your awareness back to your body. Move your fingers, your toes. Stretch out the arms, join the ankles together and inhale to stretch. So if you're lying down, just stretching all the way out. Exhale, release. We'll bend both the knees, roll over to one side and then press yourself up to seated. Great.
That was your practice for today. And like we do, we'll seal in the practice with 3 loud chants of Om or a humming noise. Believe me, humming and just having vibration within the throat makes such a huge impact in terms of sealing the benefits of the practice. So let's take a deep breath in together. Let's rub the palm. We'll take the palms to the back of the neck. And let's all join our palms together, bringing them to the forehead to remind us to have clear, loving, healing thoughts. To the heart center as a reminder of clear, loving, healing intentions. And to the mouth as a reminder of clear, loving, healing communication. Take a moment to bow your head down to thank your body, mind, and spirit for this practice. And let's all send positive healing energy to everyone out there in the universe, all the sentient beings. We all know that we all need healing, collective energy in our collective conscious. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you can continue this practice with me for the days to follow. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to DM us. POPxo Daily is what you can DM on the Instagram. Otherwise, Yoga with Priyanjali is my personal Instagram handle. Feel free to reach out to me. I will be happy to send you information on whatever you need in terms of getting deeper into your practice. Stay safe, stay indoors. Bye.